Okay, I'm just gonna make this quick. The kids just went down for a nap, and this is way long overtime due. Hi, my name is Katie Fassett. If you're new to my channel, I'm so glad you're here. We have a bunch of different things on this channel. There's some curly hair tips. There's my story of my husband going into the ministry. I'm a mom of four boys. I'm expecting a fifth baby boy or girl. We don't know. We're keeping it a surprise. And I also was a part of an MLM for almost 7 years. So I talk a lot about that experience of being with the company Beachbody and how that kind of shaped me into who I am today, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. I also host a online Beauty After Baby membership. It is for moms who are looking to get into healthier habits. They maybe don't know where to start, or they are an avid fitness fanatic already. We have it all. We have fitness calendars, workout calendars. Every single month I do a mini challenge. In September, we're doing a strong and rested September. So it's going to be awesome. We're working on our nighttime routine, working on strength training, and we have some devotionals thrown in there as well. So you kind of get it all. If you want to learn more about the Beauty After Baby membership that I have, just click the link below. You can look it up, join us. If you use the code September or SEP5, SEPT5, you get $5 off this month to join in on the challenge. So I hope that you do that. But today we have a Beauty After Baby interview. Every month I have one interviewer or interviewee, and this past month it was with Cait Brown. She and I go way back. We were both a part of Beachbody for the same time. I think she was in it a little bit longer than I was, but she shares her side of the story of how kind of things went down and what she's up to now, her just views and opinions, becoming a mom and all the shifts that are happening. It's super inspiring. It was really fun for me. It is a longer one, so make sure to grab a drink or, go do your dishes or laundry while you listen, because I think it got to be about an hour. So buckle up. It's going to be a good one. Cait is a really good friend of mine, and it was just really fun to just kind of talk through just the craziness of being a part of an MLM and just how all of it ended. So I hope that you enjoy it. Go have fun watching. I don't know. I'm so tired and pregnant this week. It like literally the fact that anything's coming out of my mouth right now is surprising, and it half makes sense. So, anyways, enjoy. Here we go. Woohoo! Welcome to I think this is our fifth Beauty After Baby interview. I may be wrong. It's the fifth or the sixth, and this has just been a really fun thing for our community. And then I get to put the interview onto YouTube so other people can enjoy it. But those who are in the BAB community get to experience it first. And we have the one and only Cait Brown today. We go way back since the beginning of starting Beachbody. And I would say we weren't like immediately friends, but I think the more that we started to get to know each other, we're actually like really similar. We're like, wow, we actually have a lot of same opinions, and we think the same. And so our friendship just grew as we were a part of Beachbody. And then those who know the history of Beachbody, that kind of all changed. So a lot of this interview is just talking about just kind of the change with that and where Cait's at now. And she's a mom, and she'll explain a little bit more about herself, and then we'll get right into it. So without further ado, Cait, would you please introduce yourself? Just give us a little background of who you are.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thanks for having me, Katie, and your awesome community. I know that Katie puts like a ton of work into putting this all together for you. So when she asked me to do this, I was like, of course. It's funny that you mentioned that though, Katie, because I think the first time we really hung out it was probably like 20, I'm trying to remember if I was married or not yet. It was probably like 2018-ish when we did like the Disney Florida retreat when we were still doing Beachbody. And I just remember being like, oh, like I like this girl, and also like we are very different. So it's just funny thinking back to like that first like pool like hangout, and then like how close we've just like gotten over the years. It's pretty cool to think about. But like Katie said, my name's Cait, and I live in like the outer suburbs of Minneapolis. So we're in like the Champlin, like Maple Grove-ish area. And I like love living up here. We just moved here a couple of years ago from St. Louis Park, Minnesota. So we're like straight up in the suburbs. And I'm like, my husband and I always joke, I'm like, I am just like in my suburb mom era. I'm like, I could not love this more. I love that like I'm still next to a Starbucks, but like when I drive to our friends' houses, I'm going through like cornfields, like which would have never been me a few years ago. But I have two daughters. One daughter is recently just turned 4 in April, and then I have an almost 2-year-old. My second daughter will be 2 in this October. So really fun season of life right now. I three about took me out. So if any other moms on here have a 3-year-old and have never had a 3-year-old before, Katie got a lot of text messages of me being like, one, pray for me. Two, I am a horrible mom. My patience is a -7. But four has been so fun. And I actually was just saying as I dropped the girls off to their daycare teacher this morning, I'm like, is it weird that I feel like it'd be harder to have one kid right now than two? Because now that they play together, it's like, it's so fun. It's just like such a sweet season of life. So yeah, mom to two girls. And then I've been married to my husband, Zach, since 2018. And fun fact, we met because he was my waiter and I left him my phone number back in 2013. So we've been together for, over 10 years now, and he's a great guy. And yeah, we're just like very much in our like parenting suburb era. Like we just love spending time as a family. We have a pool at our new house, so we swim a lot together in the summer, bike rides. And what else about me? I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, so I'm very excited today because at the time of this recording, we're getting another album. Like to read, walk, workout, and I really like value my friendships a ton. So Katie knows this. Anytime I can hang out with my girlfriends, that's a good time too.
Okay, I love that, Cait. So let's just get right into it with these questions. We're going to get to the juicy questions right away because I kind of gave a little precursor to what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's just rip the band-aid off. When did you feel like things were kind of shifting with Beachbody? Like
Yeah,
that kind of
it's one of those things looking at it now, we always have like a 2020 hindsight, right? And so I think to like look at how I felt when it went down or when the company changed the comp plan and whatnot, we have to look at like where I was personally when I started. So when I found Beachbody, I was 24 years old. And I was in my second year of teaching, and now that I've kind of like unlearned some of these layers, I learned that a lot of people will join an MLM when they're feeling vulnerable in their life. You hear a lot of like rags to riches stories and things like that. And I never really thought I had that, but as I've kind of uncovered the layers over the last 10 months, at the time I found this, I was really interested in like the fitness side of things. At that time, I was very into still like literally running marathons. I was training for my second marathon, half marathons, and I did want to switch it up. But honestly, what really did also draw me in was the community. And I had, we all kind of have funky seasons of life. And in my early 20s, I had gone through like kind of a pretty big friendship breakup with some friends that I had been really close with for a long time. And I look back now and I'm like, oh, that I was really vulnerable in that idea of this community and like this girlhood. And again, none of those things were bad. And I just want to say this as Katie and I like navigate this conversation. um you don't know what you don't know when you're in it. And like I also want to say like, a system that is maybe not always good, but there's a lot of good people within that system. And so so just that's kind of like how I got started with it, and very quickly was very good at it. And as someone who had gone through, liked achieving and was trying to run all these marathons and do all these things, and then I had this vulnerability of like this friendship breakup had kind of happened, and that was very significant. Sort of the perfect storm for an achiever, and then that vulnerability. So fast forward, I was a part of this for 9 years and was very successful with it. Um, I think discernment started stirring. If I'm now being, not that I was never honest about what I believed in it, but looking back with the hindsight and the 2020 and the discernment and all that. When I had my first daughter, I remember sort of having the wheels turn of like, wait a minute, we've been told that we can have like this business that gives us so much time freedom. Yet I see so many women who are having a baby, and I didn't do this, but days later, shilling energized, talking about challenge groups. And I just remember like being like, I was like conscious of it because I saw it before I became a mom. And I am glad I had like, gosh, what was it? Like 6 years, 7 years of doing this before I had kids. So I think that's when like, but it's like you shove it to the back of your head, you shove it to the back of your head. You're told to like, it is like you're just fed that it is so freeing and it is so this and so yeah. So when it all went down and like my I'm done moment, I don't even think it was like an I'm done moment. Honestly, Katie, I felt really relieved. I was obviously upset, and anger was a big default feeling too, because I was very upset about not having like a chance to like get my footing. But truthfully, really looking back now, I had relief that like, oh, I'm forced to be done with this now. Because I am a very loyal person. And so I was not going to ditch my customers, my coaches, things like that. So that's kind of where I was at when it initially happened.
Okay, that was so good, Cait. And it's funny too because I feel like people who were coaches had a different experience than those who were just in the challenge groups.
For
And
sure.
it was just so different when you were on
Yeah.
the end of like leading it and trying to bring more people in. And I remember after my third baby, my sister-in-law asked, she's like, "So do you get like a maternity leave?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "Well, no, like, but I love it and it's so fun." And
Yeah.
and then, because that's like I was just so
And
conditioned.
it just becomes normal. Like
Yeah.
you see people who will like be postpartum
Yeah.
and people are praising them that they are still showing up for their business. And
Yes.
I remember like consciously with Ellie, like doing my certain tasks I had to do sooner and whatever. And then again, I know we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but I really leaned in, and that's Katie can probably pinpoint too. Like things really changed for me internally, especially after I had my second daughter, because I had that like I'm building this for time with my kids. I'm not sacrificing this. I'm not getting on a nighttime call. Like I'm not doing this the whole first year. And I didn't, which is huge because forever, like I didn't miss anything. So, yeah.
No, that was huge. And at the same time, so Cait and I, our two youngest are like the same age,
Yeah.
same time frame they were born. And so we've been pregnant twice. So I keep telling her, like, you gotta get pregnant
Like do
again.
it again.
Come on, let's make it
She
through.
might get her wish someday. I don't know yet. I'm in the debate. That could be a whole episode of debating 2 to 3.
I know. Anyways, but like when we had our or her second, my fourth, that was when the comp plan changed and all these things were happening. And I just kind of I didn't dig into it because I was in the throes of postpartum. I know you were too, Cait. So it was just like I'm just here. I'm not in the mode of like why are things changing? Like I was just like, okay, rolling with
Hmm.
it because I don't have time to complain or to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the hardest part of closing the body closing and the partner opportunity, and what was the most freeing? So what was the
The
hardest part
hardest
about,
part
yeah, sorry.
The hardest part was just like anger that I felt because so my background is education. I got my degree in elementary and special education. I taught for 4 years, three of which I was doing Beachbody on the side as a side hustle, which again, this whole conversation for anyone watching this, and if you're like very like anti-MLM, these people are stupid. Like a lot of us don't know what we don't know when we're in it. And like it did teach a ton of great, valuable skills. And at the same time, like any toxic-ish underlying relationship, it can also inadvertently hurt you or harm you in ways, and you might not even know it till you're out of it. So like that grain of salt and that lens, I think, is very important in this conversation. But I was very angry at first because as free as I felt too, like, oh, okay, I have like, I can just be done. Like, this is not my fault. I didn't quit, whatever. I also just really struggled with feeling like, now what am I supposed to do? I have this background in education and I loved my career as a teacher. I value teachers. I think I could go on and on and on about the role that teachers play in our society. But I also like right away was like, I just want more flexibility all school year. I don't want like just this summer off thing, whatever. So it was great for me to like know that that career wasn't for me long term. But I felt very upset that I felt like, well, now what the heck am I supposed to do? I let my teaching license lapse. I don't want to go back into the classroom. I don't want that schedule and that lifestyle. Our girls go to daycare, but only 4 days a week. I know for some people that feels like a ton. Me, it is the perfect balance. And so I very quickly, my best friend is a recruiter. She helped me get my resume together. She was like, here's how you do LinkedIn. Like I was ready to like roll up my sleeves, find a job. Like I knew I wanted to do something with like, once I was like, okay, I'm good at marketing. I'm good at sales stuff now. I'm very good at sales stuff. Like maybe I can find a job here. But I was so like angry in those first couple of months being like, what do I have to show for this? Because technically I have 9 years of experience in marketing and sales and leadership and all these things. But like that's how do I translate that on paper to now at 34 years old go find a job? And so I was very angry feeling like I was the dummy who put all her eggs in this basket, which like a lot of people put their, I have teacher friends who are like, all my eggs are in this basket. I feel stuck. I don't know what else I do. So I don't even know if the career matters so much because I think we can tend to do that as human beings. but I was very angry that I felt like I wasted all this time. And so that was difficult. And then the most freeing part was just like, okay, I'm done. Like this chapter is closed for me. I will not go to another company. Again, my experience was amazing in so many ways. But like to build a team and like recruit or go like sell liquid collagen, like I would literally rather sever my arm than do that. Like that's just like not what I want to do at all.
I think, well, it was just so interesting watching like how our team kind of handled things and how other people's teams handled things, and not saying that one was better than the other, but I felt like our Hustle with Heart group was just kind of like none of us really wanted to do anything else. Like we were like, we had kind of had this like specialness with our team and we
Mhm.
just did things differently, which
And I
also,
think we've learned that more as time has gone on, how
yes.
special our
Oh my goodness.
group was.
Yeah, so it was like it wasn't all just in our head because then I would hear other people's stories and I'm like, well, I didn't like really experience that. But even
Mhm.
with the good, there was just some weirdness from
Yeah, because we were operating within the structure
yes.
of, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it is there's just like there's so many moving parts to it
There's
that
a lot of dichotomy. Like there's a lot
yes,
of yin and yang with
a lot
it,
of nuance.
definitely.
What did you believe about MLM culture that now you see a little bit differently? Like what did you believe then that now being out of it, you're like, okay, now I see it a little differently than maybe I did when I was
Yeah.
in it.
I think the biggest thing is just hustle culture. And this is an interesting thing too, because in that structure, it's very pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The harder you work, the more you get. The longer you stay in this, like you will reach the top, right? And so I just fully like ate that up yep, consume it like hustle culture, which is also interesting because my background with education, and I didn't finish my master's, but part of my master's was in like culturally responsive teaching, and just kind of learning like there are certain privileges that like exist, right? And so it's like, yes, we can all work hard to achieve what we want, and that is a true thing. And also like there's certain things that like my dad paid for my college, like, and that's not going to be the same opportunities as someone who's like leaves college and has $70,000 worth of debt, right? So it's like I knew that knowledge, but like in the context of Beachbody, it was always like hustle harder and you will get there. And as you know, a former achiever, I don't even think I used to be like, I'm an Enneagram 3. Now I really don't think I am that at all. But now I just see it differently where it's like I define so much of my worth in what I did, and my worth I now like, and I used to feel so much guilt if I'm like, I don't feel guilty at all. Like when my kids go to bed, I am putting on my comfy clothes and I'm going to scroll TikTok for a little bit. I'm going to watch a show with Zach, and I don't feel guilty for 1 second. And that would have not been the case like 5 years ago. I would have been like guilt ridden that I was doing nothing. And so I think that's definitely something that has shifted a lot and I see differently now. Um, and
That's
that's a good
no,
one.
that's so good. And it is like when you're in it, that hustle culture is so glamorized. So it's like,
Yep.
oh, you're already posting and you just had a baby 8 hours ago. Like you're the best. So there was just like
Yep.
always this like secret competition. You just felt like you were constantly behind because there's always going to be someone
Mhm.
who
And
is
there's always someone to compare it to.
always,
There's
always.
oh, that's it too. It's like, and that's what I've like a huge like mental shift I've had is it's like, and I know we'll talk about this as we go on. It's like I don't compare myself to anyone anymore. Like I literally don't care. And it's like I struggled with that for years. Like, what does she have that I don't have? And what and it's like it's not even in my ether anymore.
Yeah.
Just very refreshing.
It just doesn't even matter. I know so many realizations. It hasn't even been a year. There's more
I know.
realizations to come. What was your
I know
kind
that's
of
crazy.
last straw with MLMs where you were just like, I don't even want to support it, do it. Like I'm anti-MLM, quote unquote.
I know it's tricky because I also, you have to, for those of us who have come out of this and been able to like take a step back with discernment and look at the whole picture, you do have to be like, I'm gonna take this on the chin. Like I'm gonna like admit things like, oh, I didn't see things this way because I was in a vacuum. And like it can be embarrassing. Like even when Katie asked me to do this, there was a part of me that was like, well, I don't want anyone to be like, wow, you were a big fat liar for 9 years. Like, absolutely not. And I still have like some very good friends who went, I have a couple good friends that I met through this Beachbody who went to other companies, and I love them dearly and they are great people. And I don't think that they're bad for doing this. For me personally, like I had said that discernment, if I was being honest with myself, and if you ladies, if you can take one thing away from this, I think it's to really listen to those gut feelings, intuitions, that discernment from God to be like, is this a good thing for me or not? And actually listen to it and not just suppress it for whatever reason you might be suppressing it for. So for me, like I don't even know if it's anti, but I just like didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I am 34 years old. I don't need another woman to like just praise me and tell like I just like didn't need that outside validation anymore. And so much of MLM is like, this person bought me Nikes. She sent me flowers. Like, and again, that's not bad, but it's artificial. These women would not be sending this to you and doing these things if you weren't benefiting them. And that's just the truth when you are operating in this structure, because you have to dangle carrots for people. And I just like really look at it and look at it differently now, where I'm like, if I want flowers, I'm buying them myself or my husband is going to. Like, if I want to know I'm doing a good job, I'm going to look at how my kids are treating other people, not because some 45-year-old woman who's never done another business is telling me that I'm doing a good job with this. What else has she done? Like, that's just one that's like, to me, that's like, I just was like very like barf. And like, even at the end, like when I would be told from some of my uplines, like, oh, you can earn this. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like, I don't need a tank top. I don't need a sweatshirt. Like, save your money. Like, so again, some of those things were there over the last few years, but like, it just made me be like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
No, it's so true. And I feel like what you said earlier about being in a vulnerable spot, like for me, I was in a vulnerable spot as a new mom who
Yep.
moved to a new town where I didn't know anyone. And so I was in a spot of like, I need to exercise and I'm lonely and I don't really have a friend group
Yep.
right now and I don't like the job that I'm in. And so it does just kind of, and so at the time, like when I first started, I was like, I got a tank top. Like it did just feel so
Yeah, totally. And
good.
it's
Like
like,
someone's
again, like not,
acknowledging you,
yeah,
like and it you just kind of get sucked into it, and then it's just like this is what we do. And so then I wanted to do that to other people because it made me feel so good. And so then all of a sudden you're just like,
yeah.
oh, but like why were we doing that, and then it's just so
And I
many.
think there's a lesson where it's like, okay, it's taught me, like, again, so many good skills were learned in this. And like, to like notice people is something that is good. Like, I like noticing things with your kids, validating that. I learned that a lot when I was a teacher too. It's like you want to be complimenting more than you're correcting, but when it's genuine, not because you're going to do something for somebody else so that they can get another step ahead and step on you to do it. Again, our team was not like that. Now that I've talked with other leaders who have left this, like that culture is very much there. And no matter how much they are going to say that on social media, they're love bombing. That's what it is. If you look what love bombing is, that's what a lot of it is. So it's like, yeah.
No, that's so good. I was gonna ask, and maybe this is too personal. Else, and I was like, I'm like, why did I ask this one? But do you feel like you lost friendships from this, and especially when you decided not to go to another MLM? Because I know I kind of was feeling like, oh, all these people are going over here or over here, and like maybe that's what I should be doing. And kind of, if you did lose friendships, um, how did you, I don't know,
Yeah.
work through that?
Well, one thing I want to say too is like a lot of people lose friendships when they join the MLM because of how they treat, like they look at friends or colleagues or new neighbors as like another number. And I think I always had like a pretty good pulse on that too. Was I completely, doesn't mean I never sold to like family, friends, neighbors, whatever. So I think that's something to look at too if you're in this, watching this like on the side. It's just like look at your, I can say outside of this world, my best friends who are my best friends in the beginning of this still are. And I'm like proud of that because I can say that that is not the case for everyone I knew within Beachbody because those people are haters or whatever. As far as my friendships within this context, I've had to look at this from like a wider lens and start to understand that some of these friendships were friendships of proximity, and that's okay. Just like, I think of a lot of my girlfriends from college. Like, do I talk to them every day now? Do I see them? No, those were friendships of proximity, right? Like, and that's going to be our life, right? Like, I hang out with our neighbors now because my neighbor is down the street. I hang out with, well, she's been my best friend for 25 years, but she moved 10 minutes away. So that's something I just try to be cognizant of. But yeah, things have shifted a bit with some relationships, and it's hard for me to look and be like, did that shift because of me? Did that shift because of them? Did that shift because now you don't value this anymore? Maybe, like you valued me and not friendship because of what I did for you or what I could teach you or what I could give you or that. So I'd say they've shifted a bit. I will also say like any friendship of again, some of it is just proximity, right? You're not going to see those people as much, but and again, I want to maintain like for me, I guess what I really learned is like I I again, I am a very like loyal friend and like I said I've gone through some like really hard friendship breakups in the past, so I can be sensitive around this topic anyway because I just like value my people so much. So, um yeah, it's shifted and it's evolved and I'm just handling it by just trying to still be a good friend and show up for my people if and this is sort of friendships in general at this age. I don't know if you ladies feel the same way. I'm like at 34, I'm not chasing anything but my kids. Like if you want to be my friend, great. If you want to respond to the text messages of, and this goes for all friendships, not even just within this, like friendship is a two-way street. And I really look at friendships in our 30s as like stuff is about to get real in the next decade. Like our parents are getting older, our aunts and uncles we're close to, like those types of things. Like our kids are going to reach school age and bullying in middle school. It's like, to me, it's like I am going to really invest in the friendships who invest back to me in relationships because I feel like stuff is about to get really real than it was in like our 20s when we were, well, I know not everyone, but like, going to the bar and like, having some shots or whatever on a weekend. It's like that this is a real friendship now. So,
I love that.
just
That
working through it that way.
so many truth bombs there. And that's where me and Cait, we laugh because I'm like, when I was in my 20s, I was getting married,
I'm
having
always like, what were
babies.
you doing at 21? Oh, I was definitely not doing that, but more power to
That's where we're like, we're very similar, but different.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a
If
whole,
someone,
those things I will not put on a YouTube channel.
yeah, we'll keep it PG over here.
Oh,
If
Lord.
someone's listening to this, I'm thinking of those who maybe happen upon this on YouTube, or maybe there are some women in BAB who they have a dream of making it in an MLM. Like they were like, I'm gonna do this. Maybe they see someone else doing it, or they just join one. What would you tell them from your experience and kind of your wisdom that you've gained through this whole experience?
So, what I would say if you're clinging to that dream is to really examine what is your actual dream. What is it like that your goals are financially? What is it that your goals are as far as your life looks? Your time, freedom, all those types of things. Like really boil it down to like, what do you want your life to look like, your career, all of it. And then really truly examine if this is the way to do it. And what I mean by that is, can you make it? Sure. If you like you know, do what they say that they can do, you could, right? And we know that not everybody does. We know like from data now, again, if someone would have said this to me and Katie 5 years ago, we'd be like, that is such like 99% of people fail. That is like hard, cold facts. And again, anyone in it is gonna be like, they're a hater. Okay. That's the vacuum speaking to you. But I think the thing is to look at like what are you willing to trade off because it is going to require a lot of time and a lot of hustle and a lot of sacrifice. And again, I don't regret doing those things. Like I worked my butt off to like create what I created with it. But it did come at somewhat of a cost. I think the other thing is you have to define what is making it within the MLM because you will always be chasing something. There will always be someone who is better and a higher rank and has more sales or is a shiny senior directive star golden nugget, like whatever the ranks are, all of it. There's always going to be something that you could still be doing better. And I can speak to this from exact experience in my tenure doing this, in the 9 years I was doing this. I kind of look at the spectrum of like, okay, you've got like the bottom of the pyramid of the people who don't do great. And then you've got like, like the top 10, right? I was very much so like in the top half of the company, but still never good enough to be at the top of it. And I used to say this at retreats. Like I was like, I feel like I'm like the worst of the best. I always felt that way. It's like, okay, one year we ended the company at like number 70 or something. Well, I wasn't in the top 50, right? You're like, oh, I'm making, 100 and whatever, blah, 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 K a year, but I'm not making that in a month like some people are. And so I think that's the thing to look at if you're like trying to cling to the dream. It's like, what is it really and what is it really for you? And you need to make that so clear, those boundaries so clear with your upline, your downline, whoever it is, your circles or whatever they want to say that it's not an up and a down, but like really be like, maybe it is that 500 extra dollars a month. Great. Period. End of story. That's what you tell them. And you're like, get off my back. That's what I want to do. Because there will always be something you can feed into in another carrot or another way that you could be like really good or better at it. Because there's so many people that are involved in it. And um,
No, that was so
I'll
good,
kind
Kate.
of, oh, sorry, yeah, I can
No,
stop.
you
There's,
can wrap it up if you have something
oh,
that
it's just, yeah, I think like the last thing I'll just say with that, and I know this kind of ties into your next question of my biggest lesson is really like, what do you want from life from this? Because, even at the end of my tenure here, kind of like another like straw that broke the camel's back was towards the end of this. It was probably like beginning of September, end of August. I had had a corporate person reach out and send me a message. And this was a corporate person that I have met multiple times, have seen at events, have spoken to. And, in the beginning of my career with Beachbody, I was elite and premier multiple years in a row. So you're in like that top 200 of the company, and they will kiss your, what, nonstop when you're doing that. But the second you miss that, again, now you're like the has been, you were good, now you're here, right? But the weird thing is the people at the bottom still see like, oh, you did all these things. I want to be like you. And you're like, yeah, I'm better than this, but I'm not as good as that. Anyway, this corporate mentor had messaged me a canned message, probably because she had spoken to other people who were like, oh, who are your people that are going for elite? And she basically sent me a message being like, hey, so great to meet you. I heard you're like new and trying to go elite this year. 10 years almost in the business. I've met this person. I've been at parties with this corporate mentor. You don't know who I am because I haven't been elite the past few years. And now you're going to send me some canned, hey girl message. I was so upset about it because it's like, what did I just give you the last 10 years? So this was like right before everything went down. Yeah, literally just a number. So I just to go back to the making, it's like just have caution with that. But I think the biggest lesson I've learned is again, not all bad. I've learned really great skills from doing this, skills I, wouldn't have learned probably elsewhere. But I think my biggest lesson is just to really like know who you are and like just not put so much validation in what other people think of you. Um, because now that I'm out of it, I literally put zero evaluation on what other people think of me. I do not care. And that was not like I really care what my family thinks. I care what God thinks, and I care what I think. And it's like that is a very freeing feeling. So that's probably my biggest lesson.
I love that, Kate. And I feel like we have a lot of conversations because I'm still grappling with the fact where I'm like, I am home with them all the time. And I'm like, I
Yep.
do want to have am I doing okay? Am I making the right decision? Like, did I do a good job with this? And now it's like I'm just off doing my own thing. And it's hard for me to sometimes give myself that validation of like, no,
Yep.
you're good enough. Like God's
Yep.
got you. If your heart is in the right
Yep.
spot, if you're focused on your family and God, like you can't go wrong with that. But that
Yep.
I am still working through that. And I did feel it like the second to last year I was in there, I felt like I was the golden child and everyone was like, Katie fat. And then like the next year was just like, nope, you're old news. Now we're on to the next like awesome person. And it was just like, whoa.
Shiny object.
Yeah, like
Yep.
the next up and coming person, you're like, oh, I guess I'm just like a piece of crap now and nobody wants to have me.
Yep.
Like it is just such like a mind F. Excuse my
Yep.
language. Okay, so this is a
Yep.
good transitional part because now we want to talk about where we are at now. Let's move on from the body baggage.
Yeah.
And I want to hear, we all want to hear what are you doing now? What's your business? We want to hear about it. What are you up to?
Yes. So again, when everything went down, I was like, okay, I knew I wasn't like immediate. I will not do another MLM. I also was like, my husband and I had a lot of conversations. I'm like, do I go back to teaching? Like that's where like my roots are at. But like with like our daycare is only 4 days a week and just like things like that, like of our current lifestyle, I was like, okay, this is not gonna work with like a teacher schedule. And so I just kind of knew like, okay, that's not my path. So then we started looking at like, okay, what if you got into like, and my husband is in sales and he's like very talented in that. And so he was like, I think you could get into something with like sales marketing, like just put it together. So I was like trying to apply for jobs, find connections, like writing my resume. My best friend is a recruiter, so she was helping me a ton with like just figuring out what my next steps would be. The hard part there then was like starting to look for jobs to apply for. It was like, okay, I know more than like what I'm reading with some of these entry level like corporate jobs, but I'm not gonna be like, well, give me this top one. Like, you know what I mean? So I was just kind of like, whatever. It was just like I knew I could figure it out, but I was just kind of whatever. I am grateful that BODi paid us out like those last 3 months, like essentially giving us severance because it did give me income in the meantime, like in the 3 months to basically be like, what should I do? So in the meantime, after this went down, I started to get some messages from local business owners who were like, hey, I'm so sorry this happened, but I've always like appreciated how you do like your marketing and stuff on social media. Like, did you ever like talk to me about it or like we have coffee? So this happened with like 2 or 3 people reach out to me about it. And I remember Zach and I were laying in bed one night and I was like, hey, do you think I should make like a pricing graphic of like a consulting to like, if this comes up, like I could, and he was like, I think you should just like figure out like a way to make this be like a business. Like, what would you want to do if you wanted to like consult small businesses? And so the wheels started getting turning. And in those like 3 months from like the beginning of October to like the end of December, I started to formulate like, okay, how could I, because I still like teaching. I like mentoring. Like I love like the social media and sales. And I was like, okay, how can I conglomerate this all together? And so I started meeting with local business owners. I probably met with about 11 small business owners, everyone from, our friends who own an ice cream business to a couple of different realtors to talking to my family owns a small business of like, what would be your needs if you hired a consultant around XYZ? And a lot of it kept coming up with like, how to manage social media. And so basically what was born was Cait Brown Creative, which is a social media management agency company. I don't really know. I mean, you're looking at the agency. I'm hoping someday to obviously like scale it out. And that's definitely there. But basically, what I do is I work with local small businesses. I do have a couple remote clients, but what really lights me up about it is being in person with small businesses. So I have like 6 clients and I go to them and I idea generate what their content will be based off their current marketing plan. And then I create the content for them and then manage their social media. And so this has just been the coolest thing to get into because it's taking the skills that I did learn from Beachbody as far as like marketing and social media goes, but I feel like it's blending really well my background as a teacher and my organization as a teacher to then put that together to make social media work for small businesses. So I'm really enjoying being in person with them and having these long-term relationships and truly just like building something that is mine. Like I built this. If it succeeds or fails, it's me. And that feels really empowering as well.
Okay, I feel like you already answered your
Yeah.
question. That's fine. We'll hop to the next one. What's something that you can do in your business now that you couldn't with being a part of an MLM?
I think the biggest thing is just actually being the CEO, actually being the one to set my prices, set my hours. I think one of the most freeing things has been when I, again, was meeting with all these business owners and thinking of my ideas. I then reached out to my best friend's sister, who is a lawyer, and she helped me draw up contracts for my business. And my dad was in business. So I kind of like knew like everything's in writing, all that kind of stuff. And so one thing that I love is like my contract is from 9 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday. And if you need something outside of those hours, you will hear from me Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4:30. Period. End of story. That's it. I do not work Fridays. If you send me an email Friday, I will not be answering it. If there's like a big fire I need to put out for a client, which hasn't happened. And what's also interesting is people respect those boundaries. So I think that's something I'm really enjoying. And it just has made my like, I was never good at like, last year my youngest baby was home with me. I did have a babysitter a couple days a week, but I always struggled with like, I'm going to work and I'm going to be a mom and now I'm going to work and now I'm going to make chicken nuggets. And it's like, no, I am like separation of church and state. I'm like, my kids are at daycare and I will think of them when I pick them up. Of course, you're a mom, you still think of them, right? But like that has been so great and setting my own prices. And that's also really scary too, because all of a sudden you're like, again, when I met with these business owners, it was a lot of like, well, what would you pay? What would be your needs? If you knew someone had 9 years of experience, but they have a new business, like, so all of that is like really refreshing to figure it out. And even last night we were on a family bike ride. The girls were in the little burly thing while Zach was pulling them. And we were having like, I had like really couple really cool discovery calls for some really cool opportunities that are going to come up. And he's like, isn't this so much more fun? I'm there's not even like comparison to it's just, yeah, I just like being in charge, but like with those like healthy family work-life boundaries in place.
Oh, I love it so
And you
much.
cannot do that in an MLM.
No. No, and it is. It's just like this is my own thing. Like I don't have to compare to anyone else or to the
And like a flash sale is not a flash sale.
no,
Like
no.
some of those things, I'm like, yeah. And like even this, I'm like, I always had to like reach out and pull and get people to do stuff. This is like people are coming to me because I have a service that they need and I can help them.
Yes. Oh, I love it so
It's so
much.
refreshing.
What's one thing that you've unlearned, or maybe you've already kind of answered this, but what's one thing you've had to unlearn when it comes to selling, showing up online, or leadership in this
Yep.
business?
Also, I'm sorry if you're going to start hearing snorting. My Frenchie Henry came in here and he's not quiet.
We,
Um,
we love dogs.
Okay, one thing that I've had to unlearn when it comes to this is I still love sales. I think everything is sales. Like when I was a teacher, I used to always joke, I'm like, I taught sixth grade social studies, and Minnesota's curriculum is Native American studies, which I'm not saying is not interesting, but for a 12-year-old, it's not that interesting. And like I had so many parents that'd be like, why is sixth grade social studies all of a sudden my kid's favorite subject? It's like, because I'm selling it, baby. So like I still like that like chase, but I like it in a way now where like I am in what I'm doing now, really selling a service that people really, really, really need. And that is just like really like it's an unlearned, like I guess also too in what we were doing, it was always like having to convince people, and like I'm gonna sound terrible, but like even now I'm like I am not in the business of convincing people anymore. Even now I'm like if you and again, I love that you guys are getting up, you're working out in the morning, all this. I'm like, if you want to get up in the morning and work out, great. And if you want to wake up with your kids and pour yourself an iced coffee, that's great too. Like I'm not in the business of convincing you to do otherwise. Katie's like, Cait, shut up. I'm trying to get all these women on good routines. But it's like I just like, yeah. The other thing is I don't want to be the star of the show at all, at all. Like I was so tired and so done, and it was so bad for my mental health postpartum to constantly feel like I got to be an inch skinnier, I got to lose another pound. Like it was detrimental, you guys. Like literally before the end of this, I had a therapy appointment ready to go for body dysmorphia because I was so tied up in my appearance and the weight loss and the bounce back, and like even talking about it, like it gives me heart palpitations because like showing up online, I'm like, no one will ever see my body again. Thank God. Like, I am just like, and that's for me. I know some people find a lot of inspiration in like showing their postpartum journey. I'm like, you will never see my new favorite hobby. I told Katie is going to my Facebook memories and deleting every time there's some, it's not for me anymore. And so I'm loving showing up online for my clients. I mean, like, this trend is going to hit, like, this is going to work really well for you. But I am fully in the background, and so much of Beachbody, and especially my early days, was like I am the star of the show. I'm going to walk across the stage. I'm going to speak on this stage. Like, and it's like, I really don't care to do that at all.
I love it and I think you own it. And I've kind of realized that I just need the accountability for my own health
100%,
routine.
100%. There's
Yeah.
and like I've learned I don't. I still get up and work out. Like I still get up and like, but not, and I know not everybody does that. Like that's why personal trainers exist. That's why communities like this, they have such a great, like again, like even like Dawn being a former customer, it's like I always knew I could relate, like I knew Dawn would be there for me. And I still love that. But like just for me personally, I'm like, Katie's heard me tell the joke. I'm like, it used to always be about linking arms. Now I'm like, nobody touch me. Like,
Stop touching
I'm
me.
good.
I
Like,
don't
I'm
want to
gonna
link
cheer you on, but
anything.
like, I don't want to link arms with anybody. I want to tell you you're doing a good job from afar, but like, don't link your arm with me.
No, I love it. And I feel like there's just a freedom that I feel now with the
Touchdown.
community we have now and not focusing
Yes,
on the
it's
next
so good
body
what you guys have.
program. And
It's so good.
I hope the ladies love it as much as I do.
No, they do. And like that's the thing too. I think what's nice too is it's like I think the cool shift is your friend and like talking to you over the last 10 months with what you've built is that yours can now you have permission in this community to be so well-rounded, which before I feel like we were kind of put in a box where we couldn't be. And so that's what I think is unique and really special about what you guys are building with Beauty After Baby is it's like it can be this well-rounded community and not just like Don lost another two pant sizes. It's like that's not what it's about. And so I think that's really empowering for like this community here, which just it was hard to do before.
Yes, when all the marketing is skinnier and more abs and
Yeah.
all the thing,
Yeah.
it was hard to combat that and not get sucked into
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, this overall wellness is much better.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna kind of speed round through these next ones, Kate. I
Yeah,
realize I have so many questions for her and we haven't even
that's
gotten
okay.
to half of them. Okay, what's your biggest goal right now with your business and how can we support you, if at all?
Um, just to keep growing it out. I mean, it's stayed increasingly busy. So I think the biggest thing you guys could do if you want to support is just follow my business Instagram, which is Cait Brown Creative. Like that's the whole name. And Cait is spelled Cait. If you follow that account, and then if I like honestly engagement just with any of my clients. So I usually like once or twice a week repost content that my clients have posted. Like if you watch that 2 second reel, that's really helpful. Or if you know small business owners like local to the Twin Cities, although I am booked out right now through October, um but just even following on that Instagram would be super helpful.
That's so awesome. Look at you, booked out till October. So
Oh no,
so
it's pretty cool.
profesh. But yeah, I will put that on YouTube and I will be sharing it in Bab. Go give her a follow and show her some support. You can also follow her on her main page too, because that's fun. Kate's a fun one, a fun follow. Okay, now we're gonna shift into like motherhood and mindset. That's kind of what we jive with here in Beauty After Beauty.
Yes.
But how has becoming a mom changed the way you see your work, your worth, and your priorities?
I always tell people, as someone who grew up, like I went to Catholic school and grew up Catholic, like faith was like a background, but it wasn't like a foreground in my life. And then very much so in my early 20s, it was like who's this lunatic in the sky? Like truthfully, you're telling me I got to believe XYZ, whatever. And honestly, motherhood's what kind of brought me back to like faith in like a new way where like, I don't fit a certain perfect mold all the time, but like it truly taught me the lesson of surrender. Like my birth experience, my first one was quite traumatic. I had to completely surrender. But becoming a mom just changed so much of like just knowing like you're enough just by being. And so much of my life leading up to motherhood was achieving, being the best, being da 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 da. And it was like I always had this like invisible measuring stick up against myself, which was just not healthy. And so and like my main priority is my family. Like Zach and I always say, like, what's going on in this house is literally all that matters. Like when I really boil down anything else in life, I'm like, none of that matters but this. And so I just think that's just like such a freeing feeling is just knowing like just making sure that we raise these happy, healthy girls. And my ultimate prayer is that they will be best friends forever and that they will always want to come back to us. And it's like, that's really all I care about. I really don't care about anything else, like in the grand scheme of life, except for like this family unit will always be together.
It makes me want to cry. I don't know if I'm just like pregnancy hormones, but for me, it's been the most fun to watch you, Cait, because when I first joined, it was like, oh, Cait is a Spitfire. And it was like, she is hard. She is balls to the walls. Like, excuse me, but it
I
was
know.
like
I'm like, it
she,
was, it
like
was
all,
crazy.
like when Cait would go live, people were like, buckle up. Cait's going live. Like, she's going to fire us up. And then it's just been fun to watch because, like, we were pregnant, then our last two pregnancies together, and just kind of watch you become like this softer version of yourself, which doesn't mean that
Mhm.
you're worse. It's
No,
just
totally.
it's this beautiful version to just see. And I know, like, even though whatever you could say, I'm more of a seasoned mom than you, there are so many
Yeah.
things I look up to you, Cait, and just how you've shifted and your priorities have shifted. And it's just been really fun to watch as a friend and kind of an outsider to it too. Okay, what does balance look like for you in this season? And balance in quotes because we all
Yeah.
know that's not really a thing, but yeah.
Not true. I think for me, it's just uh honestly, like I just like my expectations are so low. I just like and not in like I'm anticipating things to be bad. Like I find a lot of joy, like even in the chaos. Like the joke in our house is when both of the girls are crying, we always start singing, "You're gonna miss this." Like we just like make it a joke because it's like you are gonna miss it, right? Like and so I think balance for me is like one, the work-life balance is so good. I just it's so good. And I didn't experience that in my first few years of business. There always was something looming over my head I could do. And this is like, nope, I'm done working when I'm done working. And so I also just, I kind of have the mentality of like, everything will get done. It's not all going to get done at once. Like, I'm very like, okay, the upstairs is clean. The basement is dirty. That's fine. The basement will be clean next week and the upstairs will be dirty. That's fine. Like, the girls have laundry. I don't yet. I'll have laundry in a couple days. Like, that's just really my mentality. Like, last night they ate scrambled eggs for dinner. Well, tonight I'll make a better dinner. So I just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm much more relaxed in motherhood than I ever thought I would be, to be honest. Like, safety is the one thing I'm not relaxed about. Like, wear your helmets on wheels. Henry, stop. We have a pool, so I'm a freak about that. But otherwise, it's like, well, I'll be fine.
Oh, I love that. I think a lot of us listening on YouTube or in our community are going to appreciate that because
Yep.
as someone who gets anxious and stressed very easily, and I was raised by a mom who doesn't, so it's hard for me. It's like I can feel like the world is falling apart when things are not going my way, and I've had to really
Mhm.
surrender to God. I was just like you said, okay, scrambled eggs tonight, but tomorrow I'll do better. Like it's like new mercies every single day and stop
Yep.
so much pressure on ourselves. Do your
Totally.
girls inspire the way you show up in business and how so?
Yeah, I used to think that, having my kids, it was always like, I want them to know mom built blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I want them to see like a woman in a career that she enjoys and that she is good at. I have two daughters. That is very important to me that they know like whatever you want to put your minds to, you can do, right? And like build it with a good partner and all that. Um, but I also just want them to know, like, more than business. Like, I always say this to Zach, I'm like, I just want them to know they had a mom who like really loved life. Like when we are in the car, we are blasting music and the windows are down most of the time because I just like look at this and I'm like, this isn't forever, like they're gonna be 14 and not want to be by me. Like they're not gonna think it's fun when like my older daughter now asks, like, so can we play the princess song? And that she's asking for Love Story by Taylor Swift. I mean, like, what a dream. So I think I just like want them to know like mom really enjoyed us and like she enjoyed her work, but that and it wasn't at the sacrifice of her not going for a career, but like she just enjoyed us. And like that's what I really care about like the most because when you really boil down parenthood, of course, it can be overwhelming and it can be whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't know, it's also like hilarious and funny and like when you just care less, it's just so fun. So yeah, I hope that they just like see a mom who like just went for it, not just in business, but life, like just had a good zest for life.
Okay. I love that so much, Cait. So many nuggets of wisdom. This has been so fun for me to listen to. I kind of want to skip to the next part
Yeah,
because
let's
we're
do
running out
it.
of time here. So this is kind of like the faith and rebuilding side of things. Did
Mhm.
your faith play a role in your decision to just kind of step away from the MLM scene, and how has it shaped kind of where you're at in business now and where you're at in life?
I think the biggest thing is listening to now I know like what that discernment is. Like I always had heard people like talk about that and stuff at church, but I'm like, if there is something inside of you that feels off within like your spirit, your soul, whatever it is, listen to it because if I look back, like I said, motherhood kind of opened up that a bit for me. And it's like my decision in stepping away was like, I'm going to follow that discernment. And also for the first time, truly in my life. And again, this is also like very vulnerable for me to talk about because not every person in my life like goes to church, believes in God, like people I'm very close with. And I'm also like that person who's like, I'm so okay with that. Like I know this conflicting on certain people, but I'm like, whatever, I'll be here. And this is so talking about this is like something I'm not always super open about. But like when I stepped into this new role, I literally was like, okay, God, you've given me these skills, and this is 100%. I'm giving it all to you. Like I did the whole like let me tight white knuckle this business and make it work and da 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 and it's all me 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 me. And this I was like, you know what? I have some gifts. I have some skills. You use this and I don't know if it's like a bargaining chip with God, but I was like, and when it's succeeding, I'm going to let people know it's because I handed it off and was like, you lead me in this. So I think that's been a huge role in this new way that I've shaped my business. And it's like, even when I like, I've had to do like some scarier things this year, like, okay, now I can increase my prices or, oh, these people are on a call with me and like, I really want this. It's like, I just like go into those situations, like I'm equipped or I'm not, and that's okay. And like, success or failure, like I'll let people know like God's got this and like that's why I'm gonna be okay no matter what happens.
Oh, that's so, so good, Cait. You explained that beautifully. Um, What's something God's been teaching you in this new season of rebuilding?
Yeah, I don't even know. I think like just that, like I think just trust and faith, like it's taught me like again so much, and Katie can attest to this too. So much of our former business was just like white knuckling it and getting other people to like, dragging. And it's like I think in this new season, it's just like let it be. Like I'm a still hard worker. Like I have to be. I'm like I have clients that I have to serve and they're paying me good money to do this. But like I'm also just like it's everything is gonna work out for the good because that's like who God is. So that's
I
kind of how I
love
just
that.
look at it. Maybe it's Pollyanna, but that's just how I
I think
operate.
that's really good. I know for me, it's been very freeing to not feel the weight of other people's businesses on my shoulders.
Yeah,
Like sometimes I'll feel like,
totally.
oh man, if they're not doing well, it's because I'm a really bad teacher. And so just letting
Yep.
it go of like, hey, they're adults and I'm an adult and they're gonna do what they're gonna do and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do and I'm
Yep.
gonna show up the best that I can with what I have and they can make their decision from there. I'm not, like you said,
Totally.
convincing anyone of anything. Do you
Yep.
if you have one off the top of your head or if you wrote one out, do you have a Bible verse that's kind of been helping you through this season right now, or maybe a hymn or a phrase that's just kind of been helping?
Yeah. So I think like mine's not necessarily like a Bible verse or that, but there is a song by Elevation Worship called Here Again. Katie knows I love like my peppy whatever Christian music, but I really like love that song. It's actually the song that my second daughter was born to, and if you know anything about that song, it's about like, okay, I'm here again, God, and like this is a tricky situation. But like you've got my back. And with my first daughter, I had a very traumatic birth and I ended up in an emergency C-section. The C-section itself was the whole whatever. It was just traumatic. And so I attempted a VBAC with my second daughter and it did not work. Like I got to a point where we were going to replay the same situation. And so I opted in for the VBAC. And so it was a much different experience, much more calm. And they let me, I had a playlist. And so she was taken out to that song. And there's a line in that song. And it's funny because it was on like my birth playlist before. And there's a line in it that's like, not for a minute was I forsaken. And I used to just like always like after her birth and like really listen to the lyrics. It's like, not for a minute, not for a minute. Because I think it's so easy in life to be like, God, why are you doing this to me? And it's like, God is not doing that to you. Like, we live in an imperfect, broken world. And so, just like that line of like, not for a minute was I forsaken is just so freeing because it really just makes you like take a step back and be like, okay, like God wants good things in our life. And I just think, even like I used to use it a lot in that context of like birth, like this wasn't the way that were hoping it would go, but you gave this to God and like not for a minute were you forsaken. Like this was just the path you were meant to be. And I now kind of just use that as like a mantra in life and motherhood of like, um, things are they're just, it's not for a minute. I just think it's such like a refreshing feeling.
I feel like that answered the next question, which was how do you stay grounded when imposter syndrome or doubt creeps in?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm not forsaken for a
And
minute.
like, and honestly, ladies too, like I know it's easy in like a social media driven world to like imposter syndrome in motherhood and especially like the throes of postpartum depression. I'm someone who really struggled with postpartum depression and always had, I mean, truthfully, the thoughts of like, well, they're better off without me, right? Like we've been in those depths. Like I'm a PPD, like you know how like mom humor also like makes it so dark too. Like my sisters and I will joke about this. Like my one sister's like, every day I thought Ela was like not breathing. And I'm like, oh well, I wanted to drive my car into a medium. So like we're good. Like I'm like the trauma makes us funnier. But
Kate,
I
me
think
and
like
you, the conversations we would have, like, oh, you thought this? Well, I thought this. Like,
it's
it was just
so
like,
bad. But it's like only like
yeah,
my husband will hear this and he's like, what is going on? I'm like,
yeah.
you don't understand.
Like,
But
you don't get it.
um
You got to be
But like
totally
I think
crazy
the
to get
biggest thing,
it.
like I don't really have imposter syndrome. I mean, if I have another baby, we'll all have to have another conversation about that car. But I think it's just like you got the kids you were like I always tell Ellie, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad God chose me, like chose you to be my kid. Like I just think it's like, no, they were like handpicked for you. So it's like any of that you have, it's like, no, don't have doubt. Like you were made to like be this specific kid's parent. Um, I just think that's like so fun.
Okay, I love it. Kate, I don't know how much time you have, but I have just those last few questions. You can just
Yeah,
answer
no, you're good.
like
I'm perfect.
one word or one whatever or sentence, and
Yep.
we'll just go through it. So, rapid fire. What's one thing you don't miss about MLM life?
One thing I don't miss is fake niceness. Oh,
Oh,
nice to see you. Like some of those people, like there was people that you'd have a conversation with, but they're talking to you looking that way to see who better's coming along. I
yeah.
don't miss that
Yeah, no, I don't miss
because
that
that's not how
either.
I operate.
What's one thing you do miss? Be honest here.
Travel. Not all the time because like I also wanted to like take trips with people I wanted, but like I do kind of miss like that part of like, oh, I know that this is for sure coming up.
No, that I was just gonna respond with like the forced travel I miss too, because I am a natural homebody and it's hard for me to
Yeah.
push myself to just go do things. So
Yeah.
having that like forced trip was I do miss that. What's this is kind of with like the beauty after baby vibe, but what's one of your go-to like work from home outfits?
Oh golly. I'm so like, well, no bra. That I'm wearing one today because I'm on this. But like when I work from home, I'm literally wearing sweat. Like I'm not cute. Like I'm not Katie, guys. If
Yeah.
you need the fashion advice, go to Katie. Like when I work from home, like I always have my hair done. I always have my makeup done. That is who I will always be. But like I will go put on like my big oversized Viking sweatshirt and just like sit here and edit and like, yeah, no, it is not cute. I'm not, no.
Okay. Advice from Cait, no bra. Perfect. Thanks for that.
I mean, ladies,
Thanks for
let's be
that
real.
outfit
Like
tip.
that thing's
Okay.
got to come off when you're
No.
working from
Oh, when
home.
I'm pregnant, that goes off as soon as I am able
Oh
to
yeah, it's
because
like
it's just
no.
like cutting off circulation. Okay, three things that make you feel like you again after a baby.
Shower, makeup. I'm like not in like the yeah, like I'm just always like I will always take a shower. I will always put on makeup. That is just who I am. And another thing that makes me feel like me after having a baby is just like watching like my like just like watching a good show that's like I don't know, like nothing crazy, but like those things like if I can like shower, put on some makeup and like watch some old reruns of like Friends or something or like Gilmore Girls, it's like, oh yes, this is, that just makes you feel good.
Yes, I remember I rewatched all of That's So Raven after my third, and it was just like I would
That's so
laugh.
random.
I would just laugh and laugh. I know it was like right when Disney Plus came out, so I was like, "Oh, I'm like I can rewatch all the episodes," and I just remember laughing so hard, and it's just so dumb. Like it's
I
just
love how random that is. That is so good, Katie.
I know it was very, very random. Okay, what would you tell your past self in the thick of burnout hustle culture?
Calm down. It's not that serious. Just calm down. Just
Yes,
calm down.
just it really
I think
isn't.
my 25-year-old like Beachbody self would be like appalled at the 34-year-old like
Be like,
you're good. My kids
it's
are
serious. Yeah, no.
like you're fine. Everything's fine. It's not all that serious. Like, yeah.
Um, if you could sum up your life now in three words, what would they be?
Ooh, happy, um, content, which we were always told not to be content before. And happy, content, and excited just to figure it all out.
Ooh, those are really great words. I love that. And it's so true. Like there was just so much with like, yeah, if you're happy with where you're at, well, then you're not striving and you're not working hard
Yeah.
enough and you need to make
And you
bigger
can still
goals.
strive and like be
Yeah.
like I'm like, yeah, I'm still striving in this new business. Like I'm striving to be healthy, but I think striving and perfection got really muddled before.
Yes. And just the competition, because it's like maybe
Yeah,
your dream, like you're loving,
totally.
you're pushing for, but then all of a sudden you see that this person's pushing for this, and you're like, oh wait, maybe I suck.
Yeah.
It's funny. Okay, one last question. We've asked this to all of the moms who have been on this. This will not be shared on YouTube, so say whatever you want, but it's one controversial motherhood viewpoint. It could be anything. Like what's something where you're like, ooh, this is like what I believe, like I wouldn't I probably wouldn't share this to everyone. We're open-minded
Ooh,
here.
what's my
Beauty after baby.
controversial?
Yeah. I know I threw you on the spot with this one,
No,
but
I like it.
everyone.
Um, controversial take. I don't know if this is controversial, but like, okay, two things. I like just don't care.
Wasn't Cait amazing? I just absolutely appreciated her honesty, her sharing her heart, her being just so open about everything. So thank you, Cait, for being interviewed for Beauty After Baby. We absolutely loved it. And if you want to get in on the interviews first and watch them first before they hit YouTube, join our Beauty After Baby membership. We'll absolutely love to have you. Seriously. Go learn about more about it in the description and the caption here. Yeah, in the caption. Okay, these YouTube videos are probably going to get just more kooky. Let's just be honest. The more pregnant I get, the more kooky I get. And we're only at 22 weeks pregnant. So, anyways, I hope that you enjoyed it. Please comment below any emoji if you made it to the end. Would love to see that. And if you have any takeaways, would love to hear what kind of spoke to you, or maybe there was something that you were like, oh, I never thought about it this way. Maybe you've been in an MLM before, or maybe you never have. So all of this was just kind of like, I don't really understand it. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps my channel in a free way, or like, comment, all of those things help my channel as well. Thank you so much. Bye.